Activate.
Hey everybody, welcome to This Pink Cloud. I am DJ Kelly Reverb. Whatever, bro.
That's the new sound effect.
Whatever.
Whatever.
We are a show that is about multiple pathways to recovery. Be sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Sitting in with me is my slightly angry but fashionably shaded friend, Chittlemans. Everybody, Chad LeMans.
I'm just happy to be here. I am offended at all of the technical difficulties we've been having inside of this studio. I'm using my new mug from my new corporation in which I work for. It's called Origins Texas Recovery anyways.
Well, that was fun. Yeah, Chad, let me translate that for you. Chad works for Origins.
Yeah, and Cypress Lake or whatever.
There you go.
But that's tight.
And you're killing it. You're crushing it. And,
yeah, anyways.
And we love it. We love it. We love it. We
It'd be
love
tight
it.
if that was just a made-up story.
Right. I think it was.
Yeah,
right?
we just made all that up.
Anyway, now I'm going to go into character. Hey everybody. I need to work on my Steve-O. Hey, bro. Hey, everybody. I've got a totally gnarly guest all the way from the Gold Coast of Australia. That was pretty good, right?
That wasn't bad. It
yeah.
wasn't good, but it wasn't bad.
Anyway, I want to introduce my boy, good friend, and it's weird. We just found each other on the interwebs and started talking via WhatsApp, and now he's here on our little show in Dallas, 16 hours in the future and a day ahead of us. Give it up for my boy, Corey, a.k.a. Soul. How are you, brother?
I'm going very good, boys. How yous going?
We're good.
Yeah.
That Steve, mate, that Steve-O
good.
comes out better naturally, eh?
Yeah, it's just if I talk. If my voice gets really hoarse, then it starts going into Steve-O zone for sure.
It's the laugh. It's the laugh.
And then he kind of just talks a little bit like this, and But so I can hear all the birds chirping, and it sounds like you're in the middle of nature right now.
Mate, it's a very lovely spot. It's a place called Mudgeeraba. It's here on the Gold Coast. It is a little bit inland. It's about 15 minutes away from the beach, but we've got a bit of nature around us. We're very lucky. We're grateful to be out here. We want to go a little bit further out, get away from the light pollution and shit like that, so I can be able to see the fucking stars.
Right. Yeah. Well, and then you've got because I guess I came across you on Instagram because I guess, it kind of recommends people in your algorithm. And then I think I saw it was a reel of you. And you were in tears and very intense. And I was like, well, let's listen to this cunt.
I love it. Was that a recent one? Was that one of the ones in the podcast?
I think it's kind of towards the top. But so yeah. So basically I tuned in and then I was like, oh, this guy, is very intense, very rad, very in touch. And then I was like, he would be fantastic to have on the show. And then next thing we're DMing, and then next thing we're on a phone, and now you're on the show. So why don't you I guess usually how we do it is kind of tell a little bit of your backstory, and then we can get into the plant medicine and all that good stuff.
And can we also talk, just for a split second, dude,
Yeah.
the fact that they use the word cunt in Australia is so dope to me, dude. The fact that they use it everywhere else in the world except for America is so dope. So that was well played, I think.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
From an American that knows nothing about Australian culture, I would say that from my perspective, that was fairly well played on his part.
Well, we were discussing that earlier, like how he could explain, how it's really the anger behind the word. It's not the word itself. Yeah.
I can give you as an example of the two different sides to it if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other night when you and I had a conversation, unreal conversation, like I had a fucking good time, you know what I mean? So
Right.
if I was to explain you to somebody else, I'd be like, DJ Kelly Reverb, he's a fucking good cunt, eh? That's how it would go down.
Right.
And then,
I would take that.
you got someone, you know, that does something to you that you don't agree with, and you just be like, that fucking cunt over there, he's a fucking dog cunt.
Right.
That's tight, dude.
So that's the dark and the light, I guess.
And I think it's kind of like the word shit here. Like, oh, that guy's the shit. Oh, what a piece of shit. You know,
that's exactly it.
Yeah, I get it. And thank you for calling me a cunt.
Yeah,
You're very welcome, mate.
All right. So anyway, well, I mean, I know you have like a fascinating backstory. Like, I mean, you had your own construction company and everything, but I think it goes back a little bit further than that. So why don't we give the audience a little bit of the taste of the background of the chaos?
Yeah, no worries. It's not really something that I dive into much anymore. The addiction.
Right.
Just
Right.
I do obviously go back there, use those memories as guidance in the present, but sort of been moving forward into like some own personal growth. But it is definitely a good thing to go back and share. It reminds me how far I've come. So
Right.
look, I was brought up in a good home. I had good mum, good dad. The family environment was unreal. So I can't really say too much about that. There's always things that parents are doing that probably you look back at now and you're like, oh, I wish they knew better. But this thing is like I'm the same now. I'll probably come across things that I could have done better as well. So
Right.
but look, the family environment was unreal, man. I'm blessed and grateful to have the parents that I do and the sisters that I do.
Right.
Going through school, I didn't really ever enjoy that. Didn't agree with it. Didn't really like paying attention. My thoughts were obviously elsewhere. But
Right.
that environment wasn't too bad. But I guess it was the environment outside of home and outside of school when when I got to around 13, 14, 15 years old, we moved to a place down south called Finglehead. And there's only one way in, one way out of this joint. And, growing up with all the locals there was only one thing that we wanted to do, and that was to get in trouble. We used to call the cops on the payphones there, and we'd wait for them to rock up. Like, we'd call them and tell them that there was a heap of kids, 20, 30, throwing rocks on the roofs. And
Right.
when the cops would rock up, a few of us would run down the beach, and then they'd all get out their cop cars and chase us. And when they were away from their cars, one of us or a few of us would just throw rocks and smash all their windows, pop all their tyres, and we were getting into all that sort of shit. We ended up getting caught one night for that.
Sure.
And, they flogged the fuck out of us at the cop shop back then. Obviously, it's like learn your lesson, you little pricks.
Billy Club style.
Oh no! It was grabbing by the shirt like this. They'd push us away and really drive one into us on the way back. So
Right.
we were doing that, and then
some rugby shit.
Some rugby shit. But we were young. We were only like 14 and that. So.
Right.
But that's the
calling.
time.
But I love the premise that you're calling the cops on your kind of on yourselves. So a few of us can scatter, but then the rest of us are gonna fucking fuck their shit up.
So tight, dude.
I love the deviant brain. Yeah.
Oh, I love it too.
Yeah.
And then just hanging out with those boys. I'm accountable for where I'm at. I've come to that conclusion. Like, I'm accountable for everything. But I ended up. There was at one point there was some stuff available. Like, we'd gotten into drinking. I never really was one for weed. That used to spin me out too much. Never got into the psychedelics at this point. But one of the boys had this stuff one night, and it was call it gack. So it's speed. At the end of the day, it's like it was a gooey type of yellow shit at this time. I haven't really ever seen too much of it around anymore, but put it on the end of the key and you just put it on your tongue, keep you up and make you feel good for days. And, that going through that type of euphoria and, seeing how high life could get, I sort of, I guess, started to chase that a bit more,
Mm-hmm.
It kept me up. It allowed me to drink more. We all partied like fuck and just got up to mischief. And it was a good time at the time. It was good until it wasn't. It was good until it wasn't. I guess the best way that I could put it, it was just, there was obviously some underlying things, like now that I look at it, there were some underlying things within me that I was trying to escape from unconsciously. I'm full unconscious about it, but still doing it.
Well, so in retrospect, can you recognize some of those things that you were trying to deal with?
Yeah, I thought I was a failure. Thought I was a failure. I didn't think I was good enough or not capable. Like that's what I've discovered now through the ayahuasca ceremonies, and spending that time with myself to go within. But that all snowballed. Being unconscious, that all snowballed, and every time I would use, get into it, and the more that it accelerated, the more trouble I'd get into. I was causing dramas in my relationships, with my family, with myself. Obviously, that's where it all starts. I was getting in trouble with the law. I was always having to show up to court. I was missing days at work. It was just creating so many dramas in my life, and it was reinforcing that thing within myself that I created within myself about myself, that I wasn't good enough, and I just used that. So
you almost started believing your own narrative.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I identified with that. Like that's what I was. Like what I was thinking truly was what I was becoming. Like because I believed it that much. And it just snowballed and snowballed. Like I was just trying to numb all of these demons that I was, it was like every time I was fucking getting into it, like at a point, like there would be these demons that I'd be numbing. But when I'd numb those demons, they would be having a fucking orgy while I was, and then you come out of it and you're like, fuck, there's 16 other demons that I've just created. Like, and then you're like fucking hitting it harder to try and bury all of this shit.
Right.
And it just gets to a point where it's like you drive yourself that far into the ground where it's like you're either going to fucking cross that line and die or cross that line and end up in jail, or cross that line like I did and use my own hands to try and take myself out of this reality. And that's what I got to, you know what I mean? And it's honestly a bit of a blur, all of it.
Right.
But
well, I know you had a construction. Dark. You had a construction company at one point, right?
I did. So what I was, my drug of choice, should probably mention that, was coke, which gave me all of the confidence in the world.
Superpowers.
Superpowers, yeah, and it's artificial confidence at the end of the day. Yeah. Like you can't keep running with it like that. But I ended up creating a multi-million-dollar construction company called Meerkat Mob. How's that?
Nice.
My old man nicknamed me Meerkat, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll just call it Meerkat Mob.
I like it.
A pack of meerkats is a mob of meerkats, if you didn't know. So
I did not know that. And like a fun fact, a group of crows is a murder of crows.
Yeah, and then a flock of seagulls is an 80s band.
There's one for flamingos that's ridiculous, but I
what is it? I forgot. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah,
hey Jamie, pull up a flock of flamingos.
Right. It's like a chorus line or something. What's it called?
Group.
Flamingos. Let's hear it.
Group of flamingos. It's called a flamboyance, dude.
There you go. Flamboyance. Yes. I love it. Fun and interesting facts. So, so Meerkats is a mob.
Meerkats is a mob, and I created that on the coke. Like I was working on this project, and I was the supervisor doing all the defects, and I was just hitting it that hard, and I'm like, I've got to escape this shit. I've got to make my own thing. So, being the supervisor of all the defects, I was the only one who knew where they were. I'm like, fuck, I'm going to buy a truck, a crew cab truck. I'm going to buy all the tools, get a crew of guys at a cane. And once I got that, I went up to them and I gave them an ultimatum. I just said, look, I've got a truck and some boys. I want to go out on my own and do my own thing. Or you can give us a contract here and I can take over all the defects for you and finish them off. And they went, yeah, we'll do that then. So I just got into this industry. Like they build highways and roads and they do airports. So it was pretty good to get in the door there.
Yeah.
I think
it's
it
like
lasted for about
it's like working for the city here, the equivalent.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right. Yeah, definitely in a way. I guess these mobs would do the projects for the city, definitely, or the government.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, like I was just like, the more money I was making with that, because I started making decent coin at one point, I was, the more money I was making, the more drugs I started to take as well, because there's a lot of extra pressure there. And, obviously the coke was, looking at it right now, like to give me that confidence, like I wanted that confidence because I never felt confident because I didn't believe in myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah,
so
sure. Well, you had established that narrative early on, obviously, that you were not good enough. And it's amazing how just normal insecurity from being this human in this human existence, you're already kind of born with that, you know?
Absolutely.
Or at least I think so, yeah.
I think so, man. Like, I think, so like, because it gets passed down and passed down and passed down, obviously, for us to be operating in this state, like that's what whoever's running this shit show wants.
Right.
They want us to they want us to not believe in ourselves, because when we do believe in ourselves, that's when we start to fucking see things for what they are. Like, we don't believe in ourselves. We're so divided and separated by so much more than just race and colour and country and religion and all that sort of stuff. And the more that we're divided, the easier we're controlled and manipulated. So I guess we're born into a world that they want that shit passed down on us, so we can't fucking think for ourselves and actually unite and stand together. And
right.
But and yeah, just that with that company and stuff. It got to a point where I ended up taking on this job in Brisbane. It's one of the biggest jobs that they got going in Queensland at the moment. It's still going now. It's a cross river rail. They're linking doing a tunnel and linking it up to the Queensland rail corridor, like the train line.
Right. So is it kind of like almost like a mini channel kind of thing?
Yeah, I guess you'd call it. I think I actually can't remember where it goes. It might go under the river, maybe. But
right. Okay.
Anyway, I ended up, taking them on, and it was a good contract, the biggest one I'd won. And immediately when I started work, they started going against their word, and the contracts are like just ridiculous. Like, you can't even, lawyers won't even barely look at them. You need to pay a fortune to make that happen. So I ended up putting more trust in the people than the contract. Got to a point where they would just cut my invoices in half every time I'm put in a claim. And I had about 20, 25 guys working for me at that point, and I was just getting that stressed out. I could see things going that way, going downhill. Right. So I started using more drugs. Obviously, just the wrong move, especially when you're worried about money and worried about the boys and worried about where it's going. But that was what I was using to numb myself. Right. It got to a point where, look, I'm accountable. I fucking was doing all of these drugs and snorting all this coke, which then led to meth after all this. Right. And yeah, them cutting the invoices in half, I just started to become insolvent. The company did, so I ended up having to liquidate, which my old man helped me do. I wouldn't have been able to do it without him. He's saved me a lot of times.
Right.
So yeah, ended up liquidating that and losing all of that, just material things. I lost myself. I nearly lost my family, my friends, just all of these material things. I was like, fuck, I worked so hard for that. Like, I built something, and now because it's such a fucking failure.
Yeah, it was like you had your entire identity now tied up in this successful construction guy, and then to have that taken away from you. So is that when the suicidal ideology started to creep in, or was that kind of always there?
I guess it was present there, but it came out in full force when that happened. And when I started getting on that pipe after it,
Right.
that was like next level darkness.
Yeah.
I never put the pick in, use needles or anything, but it doesn't really matter. I was puffing on that shit all day, all night, staying awake for so long, and like
were you like smoking speed then, or what?
Yeah, smoking crystal meth.
Right. Yeah, that's that.
Which is the speed.
Say, like you want to take your VCR apart, but you won't be able to put it back together.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was some dark shit. That was.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, when you stay up for days, then you start having psychosis, and then you start having friends that come to visit you.
Yeah. Then you start talking to the shadow peeps.
The shadow people.
You know what I mean?
I had some ninjas coming in. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I went into psychosis a fair few times, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Next level. Like, have you guys experienced it before?
Oh, I have. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have, without a doubt, dude.
Yeah. Well, let's hear your experience.
Okay. Probably the most heavy experience I had when I like seen something that, like, it was literally there to me. I was smoking. I'd probably been 2 days in, smoking this shit all over the shop, just driving around finding places to fucking burn up. I was sleep deprived. I hadn't eaten food. I was probably drinking. I was probably hitting the Xanax at the same time.
Right.
And it got to night at one point. I was only around the corner from my mum and dad's. I needed to get some way close because it was reaching that point of like, I needed to stop.
Right.
And I knew that, but I was smoking this pipe that was broken into 2 pieces. So I'm trying to fucking wrap my fingers around this pipe to hold it, to close it off, to make it airtight. Cutting my fingers up, bleeding, and I'm putting the stuff in the end of this pipe, and I'm burning up. And then I'm fucking, at the same time, I'm looking in the corner of my eye, and my cousin Charlie is in the back of the car. Starts talking to me, like, "What are you doing?" Like, shit. I was one that tried to get her away from the stuff. I brought her into the company. Right. When she was at the end of her drug addiction, she was next level on that shit hard. She nearly fucking lost herself big time. She nearly crossed that line to not coming back. Right. Anyway, she's in the back of the car talking to me.
And now is she really there, or you're imagining?
Nah, she's not there.
Yeah.
She's not there at all. And I'm, fucking broken pipe in my hand, 2 days on it, just a fucking piece of shit. Proper, like, thinking about it. Like, I've got no dramas reliving it, but it is fully, like, it brought a lot of darkness.
And what's she saying to you? Is she talking shit to you?
She's like, what the fuck?
Look at this.
What are you
cunt.
doing? Look at this filthy cunt. He's been awake for 2 days.
Trying to smoke a pipe with it.
Dude, listen to that. Listen to that horrible accent. Do it.
Yeah,
do it.
I'm going to go into my English accent.
Go for it.
Trying to smoke a pipe like a proper Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was brutal, dude.
Well, let's hear yours. Do Medenis.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know your Austrian accent.
That's not an accent. That's just real life.
He does a pretty good one. Well, okay, here real quick, since we've already awkwardly interrupted, we'll go ahead and throw to commercial. Chad's mom has a book out, and it's called 2 Calls, and here it is.
Imagine getting that phone call as a parent that your son has been hit by a car and is being life-flighted.
2 hours before we got the call, Chad had called me to tell me it was the best day of his life. And then I get another call, and a stranger had found him, and they were care flighting him to a trauma unit, and that he would start praying for our family that we needed to hurry.
You know, when you wake up on the operating table and they're like, we're going to cut off both your legs. And then I wake up and then one's gone, the other one's in an external rod system. It's just not good. The real kicker is that I've had like all of these scars all over my arms, and that's all from complications resulting from drug abuse.
I never thought about giving up on him. Never. This is my son, and I know he's going to be okay. You cannot just have help for the addict. You have to seek out professional help. The whole family has been affected.
And I just want to make that very clear to anybody who's out there listening, that if I can do this thing as much as I've been through, man, there's a lot of wiggle room for people before they get to that point where they can do it too.
All right, and we are back. That book is actually called Two Calls. If you go to twocalls.org, you can actually buy the book and then get a hold of your mom and you.
Yeah.
And y'all do speaking engagements and speaking stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
From your entity.
It's just the way you say that. It sounds
well,
fantastic.
I say it because if I go, if y'all do speaking and stuff, and then you go, we do speaking engagements. Yeah. And then if I say, we do speaking engagements, then you go, we do speaking and stuff.
I don't think so. I don't think that's real. I think you're just playing tricks on people.
I'm hallucinating much.
I think you're just lying to people.
Much like Corey was with his cousin.
I think you're just lying to people.
Right.
Just flat out lying to people. I think you're just a lying cunt. So no, we go around and speak to families and stuff, and I don't cuss as much as I do on this show.
Right.
She doesn't cuss really at all. It's really funny when she does cuss though.
Right.
But she doesn't, and we because she wrote a book about trying to help families with resources and stuff like that, because it's a family thing. It's not just the addict that suffers. It's the family.
Love it.
So twocalls.org, you can reach us. Hell yeah.
There we go. And then we also have some new music streaming right now, and here it is.
Woo!
All right, and we are back. Those are two new tracks that are streaming on Spotify, Apple Music. Be sure to follow our profiles, and then also follow the podcast. Like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, talk about how good the new cameras look or whatever.
Yeah.
And then talk about how much of a pain in the ass it is to set them up every time. And then talk about the pain in the ass, the technical difficulties.
We have a pain in the ass with our entities when that's when we try and set these things up.
That was Corey, that was a talk that Chad and I had last night, because when Chad says the word entity,
it just sounds like I should be saying it. Like, it's hard to say it. Like, you can be entities, right?
He might
but if you're trying to enunciate it, you might as well just be like entities, because that's what it sounds like. You know what I mean?
Does,
there's just no good way to say that word, dude.
I like
No,
to
there's
talk
not.
about I like to talk
Sometimes.
about entities. Anyway, so back to your story. You were at the shadow people. Your cousin was hanging out, having a go at you. And then, so where does it, where do you finally draw the line and start asking or looking for help?
Look, after, like I said, it's a bit of a blur, but after that experience, I went through, I gave it a couple of other goes and stuff like that, and then it hit another point where I was on it, and it got so dark that I just couldn't see any other way out, man. I was by myself. I was at my parents' house by myself. I fucking just, yeah. I was just, the thoughts got the better of me, you know. Like, I was just thinking, enough's enough. Like, you can't keep living like this. You can't, like, I can't see any way out. Causing too much drama. Is like, look at what you're doing. Like, I could actually see myself what I was doing, and I was just like, fuck it. I had a heap of Xannies and Valium with me, and Targin, which is a painkiller. I was on the alcohol, drinking straight Jack Daniels then, and the Coke. I had an ounce of Coke with me as well, and I was just going to town on it, just fucking hitting the Coke.
You had a little buffet going, dude.
I had a fuck. It was like the
right. I applaud the buffet.
You know, at one point I would have loved to seen a buffet like that. Just, you know,
right.
What's this fucking weekend gonna be? But I was just like, now it's used for other things. Now I've got some pretty dark things going on that I'm gonna, you know. I ended up doing the Xannies, you know, at some point, and that was it. I knew that one was going to get me the amount that I had. And I don't know how this unfolded, man. I don't know if I was talking to her earlier, but that same cousin that I was talking to in the car, she came in, found me. I was purple, and she said I was purple. Obviously, this is third party information right now, but yeah, purple. She called the ambos. They came and got me. I was dead in the ambulance that they said to me at one point, and they brought me back. I'm not too sure how they brought me back, but all I remember, the last thing, I was laying next to my mum and dad's sausage dog after I'd taken the Xanax, and then I woke up in the hospital. But I went through an experience through it, like I was just experiencing another experience while I was out of it, and I don't
now
understand
would you consider this an NDE, a near death experience?
I would call it an NDE, yeah, if that's what they're labeling it as. I was
right.
Yeah, I definitely experienced a different reality. And like I said, I don't understand it, but I do know that I came back with some information, and one of those things was that you know, living down here, and it was sort of put to me in a way like, when you do leave this reality, your life is, you know, replayed to you once, you know, the job down here is done.
So you had the death review.
I didn't have a death review of myself, but I was told that the review would be a thing when you leave this reality, when you leave your vessel, and you know, and it would be played through like the eyes of others. You know what I mean? Like, you know, for my dog, for instance, you know, going up to her and being like, "What are you fucking doing, you cute little fucking cunt?"
Right. Yeah, and you're experiencing it from your dog's perspective, right?
Yeah, that's exactly and that would be a beautiful moment. But then there would be moments where, you know, you might be like yelling at your fucking partner when you know, that toxic part of your life.
Oh, yeah.
It's literally like this. Like, that's what you're saying. You as a fucking piece, like, you're not controlling yourself. And
right. Wow.
Like, I was like, holy moly. I was like, holy fuck. I've got goosebumps talking about that. But, you know, it really made me see the points that I have gotten to. Like, it would disgust me having to look at that replay back. So I think that understanding.
I have multiple questions about, like, so the other side. So how long did it seem? And also, because I've heard that side seems actually more real than this side, and it feels more like a home than this, you know, existence.
Yeah, I guess it does feel, if you would put it like that, more like home, like where the cloth was cut, if that makes sense. Right. Yeah, so it's a very hard thing to pinpoint, and you know, things happen so fast, moments go by so fast, like you literally, like, you can't grab onto it, so it's just like fucking just floating by, you know, like, it's crazy, especially at the moment. Like, life is busy for me, and I'm seeing it, like, watching, because I'm trying to sit in the seat of awareness a lot more. I am noticing how quickly life is flying by.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny how that happens once you get sober and you've been like blaming, like you're fucking, oh, this tastes fucking, everything takes fucking forever, and then the next thing you know, like you don't have enough fucking time to do shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like
Absolutely.
time is like been so skewed and warped for you that now when you actually realize how short everything is, it's like, well, fuck, dude, I got some shit I gotta do now.
Right.
That's it. And like you can't. Yeah, sorry.
But so like when when you were on the other side, then like did you was there any other knowledge besides, the fact that you're going to have a life review when you get back here? Was there any other, takeaway that you can remember? Because I hear a lot of people always go, oh my God, I knew every answer to the universe when I was on that side. But then when I came back, I was a dumb cunt.
You're so right there. You're
Yeah.
so correct. And like especially doing the the ayahuasca, the magic mushrooms.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same sort of thing. You go into you go to that place just to keep it simple here, and when you come back to this place, it's so hard to bring back what you went through. And like that in my ayahuasca ceremonies now, it is so hard to write, but when something comes into me, through me and into me, I write it down as soon as even though it looks like a mess the next day, I can decode it. And I'm like, okay, that is so
I
fucking
know what I was
powerful,
thinking here, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thought that came in, the download, however they, that's what they call it as well.
But I'm just talking about like prior to like even just, in your NDE experience, not necessarily with the plant medicine, but was there anything that you brought back like with you, or was there a big takeaway?
I guess, yeah, it is a big takeaway. It's probably the biggest one that's helped me change my life. I don't want my review to be shit. I don't want to look at myself being that bad person. I want to look at myself doing good things and being a good person, and making the world a better place in whatever moment I can, Really, that's really real. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that is a good general philosophy, period, is because, do you want to, basically go back and then turns out you were like Ebenezer Scrooge,
so do you really want,
or Hitler?
Do you really want to hurt me?
Imagine Hitler's review. I don't know. He'd probably like it, the sick cunt.
Cry.
What were you saying?
Oh, I said,
Corey?
Imagine Hitler's review. He'd probably love it and get off on that shit, the sick cunt.
All right. He would probably erotic asphyxiate himself to it.
Who was the guy that did that from Kill Bill? What was his name?
Kill Bill. Oh, yeah. David Carradine.
Yeah, David Carradine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember that movie, but I don't know him.
He died from autoerotic asphyxiation, much like your fellow countryman, Michael Hutchins. Let's talk about Australians that died while jacking off.
I wouldn't know any, eh? Fuck.
It would
I can't believe there's
Michael Hutchins from In Excess.
Is that what he died from?
The lead singer of In Excess died from autoerotic asphyxiation. Look it up.
Do you reckon there's a like a chart, like a statistic chart, like a pie that has the amount of people that have died from that shit?
We should make one.
First off, how lame would that be to die from jacking off, dude?
Imagine that in your review.
That would be like, your epitaph, like on your gravestone.
So you know how I was talking.
He didn't quite come. But yeah, that would be a very lame way to go.
Oh fuck! Well, it would be a fucking very lame way to go.
Right. But people
Not
have
for
done
me.
it before. And Kill Bill, David Carradine
Yeah.
is one of them, and Michael Hutchins is the other. And I will look up and have a list of people who have died from autoerotic asphyxiation.
Yeah, we're gonna make a pie chart.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. But yeah. So then, okay. So let's move on. So how did you find the plant medicine, aka the entheogen of ayahuasca, and magic mushrooms?
All right. So after that,
I was looking
death
for a way to
experience-
get fucked up, and
yeah. Well, I was actually after this, I ended up going again on the pipe, and then I felt like a shit. This one point I'm like, I can't even fucking learn my lesson. So I ended up making the choice at this point under the influence, or I was coming down. I wasn't on it at that point. I said, "Mum, Dad, I have to go. I need to get the fuck out of here."
right,
So I jumped in my car and I drove up north. I didn't know what I was going to do, to be honest. Like, I had the thoughts, like I wanted to end myself. I took the things to do it as well. And I reached this place on the drive on the first day, and I was alone at this point, and I was by myself, and it was really hard to be with myself and with my feelings and that hate for myself. So I ended up messaging this guy online. His name's Aaron Singer. He goes by the name Ink Pray Love on Instagram, and I messaged him and I said, "Look, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm about to do." And he got back to me like so quick, and he had quite a following, so I was quite surprised and started talking to him. He gave me a free online sort of thing of him talking, doing some breath work, and he got me to write out some things, which I did. I did the whole course, and just doing that and doing the breath work, it sort of just brought me back a little bit, And then he mentioned something. He was like, "Look, I'm going to give you a contact of this guy, and I can't mention this guy's name, but he's a shaman that I go and see to do the ayahuasca." And I ended up contacting him, and it wasn't for a year that I could get out there, but I was like, "Fuck it, I've got nothing left to lose.
right.
I'm gonna book this thing in." And ended up going to this place in Emerald, and look, I wasn't getting on the stuff anymore, but I was drinking, I was smoking durries, I was eating shit food, I was still doing some things just to sort of like fill that void of something that I'd let go of, I guess.
Right.
And anyway, all that time there went past, like I was on the up, I was climbing out of that hole, and then I went and done ayahuasca. And honestly, the first ceremony, like I was a bit of a mess. I didn't know what I was in for. I've done the research.
Well,
and
I
was
mean,
quite
allegedly, when you're supposed to take the plant medicine, there's dietary restrictions, and then
Yeah.
also, you're not supposed to be on alcohol, weed, all that other stuff, because it can drastically affect or alter your experience with the plant medicine.
Yeah, that's right. And I wasn't on the weed at this point. It wasn't really a big part of my life. And I wasn't eating the best, you know what I mean? I was eating better, but I still wasn't at that level. Like, things had really, really cleaned up. Like, I'd dropped a lot of weight. And anyway, when I went out there, the first ceremony, the first night, when the medicine, going through the ceremony, when the medicine hit me, I started to feel sick. I'm like, oh, there it is. There's this thing that they talk about. I just hope it's going to come out this end and not out the other end.
Right. Yeah.
They make you wear white. They don't make you. It's like light coloured clothing that they make you wear.
Right.
They want you to wear, and I'm like, this is the worst thing if someone's going to shit themselves. Like,
Can we go with a darker color, please?
please, like a brown or a black,
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Anyway, I felt that sickness or that purge they call it coming on, and I just like, it was the most aggressive, violent fucking purge. Like, it opened up the whole room. Like, it was next level loud, and like all of this stuff come out of me. Like, and at the time you're doing it, and it's telling you like, this is the shit that you're fucking putting into your fucking body. Like, it's gross. You can't do this. Like, I'll cleanse you. I'll get it out of you.
Right.
But you can't be putting this stuff in your guts, like, or at least fucking balance it.
Right.
These are the messages that I was getting, for that. And then the second night was the eye opener. It was, look, to cut it short, it shown me that I needed to forgive my younger self, and that's something that I could never do. This was the thing that sort of moved me onto that, into the present moment. You know, I forgive myself, and just understanding that one needs to forgive or make peace with themselves for their past lived moments that weren't so great. You know, to not forgive yourself for that, it won't allow you to live life to the fullest. You're going to stay stuck, real stuck. And you know, that led to accountability too, which was huge. Like radical accountability that I am where I am from every choice that I've made. You know, like if I'm going to point the finger outwards, so if you point the finger outwards, you're going to remain in the victim mindset, and while you remain there, you also remain stuck. So you get the fuck out of your own way.
When you're pointing the finger, you have 3 fingers pointing back at you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know that taking accountability is, and you know, I still struggle. I still fall, like I'll be straight up, I still fall back into a victim mindset. I still can go and sulk, and like mine isn't really blaming other people.
So would you say you can still be a bit of a cunt?
I can still be a bit of a cunt to myself, yes. Absolutely. I think we all can, you know what I mean? There's some deep.
Oh, Chad
deep
can be a full-on
inside.
cunt.
Yeah, Kelly is just a walking cunt in the worst term of the word.
Yeah, and like, look, that's led me to. I won't go talk to a psychologist. Like I would, you know, I'd have a yarn with them, but only if they open their mind up to other things. You know, it doesn't have to necessarily be the plant medicine. It's not for everyone, but I am talking.
Right. And that's what I say. Like, I mean,
stuff.
I did the plant medicine because, you know, I was dealing with the loss of my mother, and you know, when you know, I wanted to experience that. I don't know if I wanted to see the other side or make sure, you know, everything was okay. But I mean, for me, I would say that it is not for everybody. I would start off by saying that if you're okay with an ego death and feeling, I would say, similar to what it feels like to let go of this life and actually die, then maybe it's for you. But, you know, if you're not comfortable with that and with letting go, definitely stay away from it, I would say.
Absolutely. Fucking know. You know, the best thing is about it, like the ego death, like it shows you something so heavy with that, that all of the layers strip back. And this is the point that I got to, of just that pure loving awareness and understanding and realizing that anything on top of that is an ego, but you can have good egos. Like Soul 33 is an ego. You know, my name Corey, like that's an ego. Like if you want to be your truest self, like it just simply is, and it is just to simply be. But you know, that doesn't have to be a depressing thing, because one can think, oh, what, I'm no one, I'm nothing.
Right.
But no, we're creators. So go and create whatever you want, fucking whoever you want to be. Like you can choose to be the baddie or you can choose to be the goodie, but you know, the baddie gets you one place and the goodie gets you another place. So
well, and that's funny. That's funny how you say that, how you say just go and create, because that's like, I'm just like, I'm not a podcast host. I'm not a fucking musician. I'm not a DJ.
Kelly, you're a pussy.
That's right.
He's a pussy cunt.
Good one.
That was you're a pussy cunt. That's just.
Chad is like, just please,
sitting back
punch.
just waiting. Just waiting.
Wow,
for
that was a zinger.
That
dude.
was good, dude.
That was a zinger, dude.
See, that's the thing with the ego death. You choose what you want to hold on to as well. So, like, some people, they think that they need to let go of this funny banter, joking around side, but I love that side, so I'm keeping that shit. And I know that you guys are on that too, and I love that.
Dude, I'd be dead if I couldn't laugh at everything.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, Chad's favorite subjects to laugh at is 9/11.
Dude, no, dude, shut up.
And yeah.
Just the internet is very creative. I will say that. Okay, the internet is
it
creative.
is.
Yeah.
I like Ricky Gervais. He's got some good stuff. When he
Oh,
dude,
yeah,
he's
he's
fantastic.
hilarious. Yeah, I love him. Yeah. But you also have your own podcast as well. And I noticed, I think it was, you were saying that it was a family member that kind of egged you on to do your podcast because, you were getting on Instagram and being very authentic, and it was resonating with people to where, kind of like it resonated with me. Like, okay, hey, here's a car wreck. Let me stop and look.
Yeah, man. I just had a few people. It was my dad at the end of the day who made me go, okay, I've decided. Well, I did it within me, but he sort of gave me that extra push. But people had been asking me through messages, you should do your own podcast. Just talk your own stuff. And it got to a point, and then Dad mentioned it. I'm like, fuck it, I'll do it. I went out and bought the gear and fucking was a real head fuck trying to sort out how to set it up because I'm not really good with this sort of technology stuff.
Same here. We have the same problem.
Yeah. But I ended up figuring it out, I ended up getting there. I didn't give up, fucking thought about it. But I've just been sort of finding my way with it. And with that authenticity, I'm walking more and more into it, you know what I mean? Because I still, and I think we all do have certain things that we have got that we haven't resolved, some inner things that we haven't resolved, which sort of are barriers that hold us back from stepping into that because of that fear, and I'm at a point where I'm sort of like the fear. If something scares me, I'm like, okay, fuck it, I'll do it no matter how uncomfortable it is because that'll be growth. Yeah.
I love that. I love that because, one of my main things was public speaking. Man, I couldn't stand it. I would be terrified anytime I had to speak in front of anyone. And actually even DJing, that was an uncomfortable thing to do without, being hammered. So, and now that's what I love about sobriety is that I think that life is supposed to be a little bit uncomfortable. And it's supposed to be a bit of a challenge so we can lean into that and hopefully learn from that experience.
Absolutely. It's the darkness in which drives evolution. Like it really has transformed me and like at an individual level too. I've seen how like a lot of the pain and the suffering that I've been through has actually evolved me and transformed me, grown me. And I think at a collective level too, like with whatever's going on in the world, I don't attach to anything. I don't know what's going on. But I know there's a lot of fear there. And I think, a lot of that pain and suffering that's going on will lead to huge transformation in a positive way. I think things just get a bit darker sometimes before that light comes out.
Before they get bright, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Always darkest before the dawn, right?
That's the one, brother.
Yeah. Hey, so, okay, I got to ask you about the tattoos and now the birds, too. So, tell us. I mean, obviously, you have some serious ink. How did that happen?
I got my first tattoo in memory of my auntie Jackie, who she passed away when I was 5 years old. The coppers said that it was a suicide, but my family think it was way more suspicious than that. They tried following it up for ages, but the coppers just said that they got to fucking stop. It was a suicide. They're not investigating it further. I had my mum on my podcast last week, so we actually talk about that a little bit.
Oh, wow. I'll have to tune into that. Well, what's the name of the episode?
I haven't named it. I don't know if I've sort of been in two minds if I'm going to keep naming them.
But it's called Planting Seeds with Soul, right? So if they want to go up and look up your... So, okay.
Planting
and if
Seeds
somebody
with Soul,
looks like your
I thought
mom...
you meant the episode.
Right.
Yeah. But I got a tattoo of Casper, the ghost, with Jackie's name on it, my aunt. That was my first tattoo, and then I just got addicted to that because I'm an addictive creature. I addict to things, I'm addicted to running at the moment.
What does it say on your forehead?
Seek truth within.
Ah, okay. I like it.
And obviously, I've gone a lot more spiritual these days. You can't see this one at the moment, but on my right leg, I've got the text Disney sluts in the Disney font.
Okay.
And I've got a few Disney stars. I've got Belle off Beauty and the Beast, Snow White, Ariel the Mermaid.
All right.
I know these aren't Disney. I'm not too sure if they're Disney characters, but Betty Boop, Tinkerbell the Fairy, and they're all like Tinkerbell the Fairy's
Disney,
licking out another fairy's pussy out. I've got
Nice.
I got
Quality.
Belle, Snow White, and Ariel the Mermaid.
Some real PG stuff.
Some real PG stuff, yeah.
Right.
They're all bondaged up together, threesome, and you can't even see what's going on, really.
Right.
And Betty Boop's tickling her fanny with a feather. Full leg spread. Like, that's a moment in my life where I'm like, I want to do this. Like, fucking. Yeah. But I like it, it tells me.
I want to have Disney pornography on my body.
Hell yeah.
Disney cunts.
Right. Disney cunts. There you go, man.
But like, I've been down those rabbit holes too with Disney, and that's not something I want to go into here. But it's crazy.
There's some crazy stuff going on.
Speaking of rabbit holes, though, I have one good question about Australia. How close do you live to Pine Gap?
Pine Gap? I don't know what that is.
That's that CIA base that's out there that looks like the little there's a bunch of like UFO stuff going on out there, and it's like the little domes. You know what I'm talking about? The white domes.
I haven't seen what's going on there yet.
Oh, dude, because I just had to look it up to see what it was called. Pine.
What's your thoughts about these UFOs? I'd like to get your take on it.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah, dude. All I do is watch UFO.
Well,
shit.
yeah. Okay. So, I mean, obviously, I think we were probably seeded, from the Anunnaki. I think I subscribe to that, and because our evolution happened way too fast for it to happen naturally, and then I think, we're kind of, here to have our own experience and to evolve in our own way. But if it is anything involved with nuclear power or something that we could destroy the planet, then they will intervene. But
gotcha.
I also think that special interest group and the military industrial complex, all of that shit controls really what's going on, because they can monetize and keep us in slavery. Thank you.
Well, that's quite a explanation. So I think that there's just something weird going on, man, with something that they're not telling us.
God, you're
and they
a
know what it
genius,
is,
dude.
They know exactly what it is, and then they're using it to try and push something that could get close to that blue beam stuff. Right?
Yeah, where it's a false narrative,
it's all
false flag.
It's all stuff that we've had going on this entire time, and they're just pushing this. And they're also pushing it super hard in the media because they're trying to distract us from something else that's probably going on. But, nothing's going to most likely affect me in my lifetime, just like tax code, just like everything else. So I don't give two shits. You know what I mean? And my life will still go on, regardless of whatever hardships I face, and everything will end up exactly how it's supposed to end up, because it always does.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
You know what I mean?
So let's hear your thoughts then.
Oh, man. Look, at the end of the day, like, this is sort of where I've come to. I have personally seen things. I actually seen, up in the sky, something that was nothing like I'd ever seen before with Kelsey, just out the back of the house here, where
because you're out you're in the outback.
Well, not right there, but we're in a place where we can see the sky enough to see the stars a little bit. Anyway, we've seen this fucking light, man, and it didn't come downwards. It was like a what they call a comet or a shooting star. That's even a fucking thing. But it shot away, and in a way where you could see that it was like, it'd have to be operating like it was controlled, I guess. So sort of having that experience made me sort of realize, maybe it is fucking true, because I was trying to sit in the middle with some things, because I just kind of feel at times that they put things in front of us so that we see them, like they want us to see it. So I'm sort of like, I see it and witness it. I'm like, okay, I'll make up my own mind. If I experience it for myself, I experience it for myself. Sure. I sometimes say, if there's aliens out there, come down and fucking get me. Like if you can hear me, come down and get me. We'll have a little bit of a chat.
Come down and get me, you cunt.
you bunch of cunts leaving us here.
Fucking probe me.
I think, one of you was saying before, I can't remember who it was, sorry, but I think everything's happening just as it should. I think everything happens for a reason. Otherwise, I just think, why would any of it be happening? Like, we're right where we're meant to be. We're going through what we're meant to go through.
Yeah, and I love it. And if you can just get out of your own way, it's funny how the universe, a.k.a. God, a.k.a. your higher power, has your back.
Yeah.
The universe can be a cunt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it can for sure. But it all seems to end up being for good reason at some point.
Right.
That's exactly right. And when I talk about the universe like that, I know the universe knows it's a joke because it's something that I think really you can be a cunt sometimes, and the universe wants us to be honest. So there you go. I'm honest with you.
Right.
You cunt.
Yeah. And then dude, going back to the comedy thing, I forget Pete, whatever his name is, was doing a stand-up, and he's like, you think you're in America right now? You think this is the biggest thing? He's like, zoom out. You're on a fucking giant space rock floating through infinite fucking nothingness that keeps contracting and expanding at the exact same time, and it doesn't make any sense. Nothing makes sense. And I was just like, holy shit.
We are on the surface.
I'm worried about absolutely zero
on the
all the time.
Surface
in the grand scheme of things.
Frozen fire.
And that's that's the whole, I don't know. It just makes me realize that dude, none of this shit, I have zero control over any of it.
Right.
And I just spend so much time worrying about all of it, which is absolutely insane. And then I start laughing about it and calling shit tight until it's actually tight. And then once it's tight, then I don't have to worry about it anymore. It's pretty tight.
Anyway, well, dude, I don't want to take up any more of your time, and I appreciate you coming on. But the podcast that you have is called Planting Seeds with Soul. If they want to find you on Instagram, you are Soul33, right? Is it
That's
underscore?
The one, brother. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Soul33 _ _ I'm pretty sure.
And I'll put that in the title.
You'll see the melon. You'll see the melon on there when you type in Soul33 anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
And then where is your podcast streaming?
Podcast is streaming on all major platforms. I think I've got it all linked up now.
Right.
And on YouTube as well. I'm pretty sure Spotify and shit does the video on that as well now. So you can watch a video on there, or you can go to YouTube or any of the other ones as well. It should be there.
But the title of the show, Planting Seeds with Soul.
Planting Seeds with Soul. Yep. SOUL for soul. And yeah.
I just followed you on both. I didn't have you yet. Hell yeah.
Oh, sweet, bro. I'll
so
have a look at that once I jump off with you.
Soul33 _
His name is Chittlemans.
Yeah, sweet.
or Chad Lemons. Or Croissant LeMans.
I tend to go by Croissant LeMans sometimes because of the nostalgia that I feel when I shop in a Tom Sam supermarket and I hear Madonna over the radio.
I feel like I'm on ayahuasca
The only
right
things
now.
that could be better than the NDE experience with the plant medicine is when I go shopping for maybe
ground turkey meat.
For maybe ground turkey meat or ground cumin peppers, right? In the Tom Sam grocery aisle, right? And I hear Madonna singing like a virgin, knowing that she is full well she is not. Right, that is my out of body experience I've ever had. The best one forever.
Anyway, all right, brother. I appreciate.
You guys are a fucking cracker.
Yeah, we're something else. But again, thanks for coming on. Be sure to check out my friend Corey Soul's podcast, and then next week we have my friend Joy, and she is actually a DJ in Vegas. So that is going to be some good time storytelling.
Und ja, that sounds fantastic.
Und ja.
Und ja.
Thanks, guys.
Anyway, be sure.
It was a really good chat.
Yeah,
dude,
thanks
for
for
sure.
coming on, man. And I'm glad we actually navigated the time
And
zone
heads up to
properly.
the audience, he didn't even see us this entire time. He's just been doing this, staring at himself in his own phone.
I have
Oh, there
been,
you go.
I've been trying to
Yeah.
not look at myself talking.
So thank you, technical difficulties.
Right.
And thanks for braving the storm with us.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you coming
all
on.
good.
And then be sure like, subscribe, all that good stuff, kids. And then remember, there is no magic pill for sobriety, because if there was, we would all take too many.